Hi guys, Spink here. This is episode 17 of Let's Learn Ageod Civil War II. Last episode we did our movement and we're getting ready to do our production now. So let's take a look at what's currently going on with production. This is something that caught my eye. I have the game option set to let the AI fill this replacement pool for us automatically, and it's supposed to fill it based on the number of percentage of units you have in play. And something I noticed is we had 23 militia replacements sitting in this pool, and each of these replacement points cost $14,000, 7 conscript companies, and 2 tons of war supply. And it built 23 of these, which is ridiculous. So I've gone in and turned this to manual. We're going to handle that ourselves now that we've got a basic handle on things. I think I can spare some of my brain power to be handling this myself, and it's not something I do recommend keeping this set, not putting this on manual initially, to give you one less thing to worry about. But this is just kind of crazy that we got 23 of these. I think I'll build a couple more of the cavalry ones because we did have quite a lot of cavalry losses. Maybe a little bit of the infantry ones, just to make sure that we actually have something in each of these stacks. The number at the top tells how many are actually missing in our stacks, hits that we would actually need to replace these up to full power. The other ones are also farther up than they really need to be. So I'm just going to leave them like that and just kind of keep an eye on them and take care of those as they come. All right, so what we were looking at, we need cavalry, we need artillery, we need ironclads, we need blockade flotillas, and we just don't have enough for everything. We got a fair amount of conscript companies. I think we do need to think about increasing our war production here. We've got to get some of these ironworks built to give us more of these per turn. At some point, we're going to have to just bite the bullet and make the investment. They're $500,000 and 125 tons of war supply. So it's going to be, depending on where we do it. If we do it in New England, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them will be built. If we do them in the middle states, it builds 2. So that's interesting. We don't have to. We have some options both in the regional option and how big of an investment we want to make into that. I don't think we have the cash now that we'd want to do this. Technically, we have enough here, but that's all we could do. So I'm gonna hold off on that. Boy, I think maybe we do want to raise taxes, so it's cost us 2 morale. But I think we do need to get some money in here, and we've got to get some investment in this stuff. To get that going. I think we're going to do it. Bite the bullet. Alright, can hit the F11 key and bring up our production or our recruitment interface here. Go for Mid-Atlantic again. It's just handy right here behind the East Coast. We do have a limit on each unit, how many of them we could actually put into play. For instance, this 12-pounder Napoleon from New Jersey, we can only build 6 more of these, for instance. So it's not like we can just denude New York and put all of their entire population into the army and not do it anywhere else. So again, because these are cheaper than the rifles. Again, they're not quite as effective. If we could go through and look at these and see exactly what what the differences are in them. And you'll see, I think it will be that these Parrott rifles are going to have higher range and greater damage at range, but I think the smoothbores here, the Napoleons, do more damage up close. Yeah, assault damage, see, is higher, whereas this one has maybe the range damage is higher. So I'm gonna build some of these just because we're so short of them, and they're cheaper primarily. War supply 12. So we should be able to build a substantial number of artillery units here. Okay, so New Jersey, let's build them here in Trenton, I guess. Right there, one. Maybe we can build one more of these in Maryland and just really put a serious investment into getting some artillery. Okay, so we've done the what was it, raised taxes, so we're going to get some serious money coming in, and then we're going to do an investment next turn to get our war supplies built up, because that does seem to also be a kind of a choke point for us at times, especially when we need to be building the things such as the ironclads that are going to be so high in war supply, and also the blockade units. So okay, so that is production. Let's look at our regional thingies. We've got these telegraph things here, but we're awfully short on money. I wonder if there's anything we should be looking at with the habeas corpus again. Washington, it's still pretty low. So is Baltimore. I think we're going to do this one more time in Washington and Baltimore. Bring those up. York, I think, has got quite a bit of production, but there. The loyalty of a region affects the production value. So the more loyal your population, the greater your production will be. So that's why I'm pretty concerned with Baltimore specifically, because it does have some industry here. And then back over in the far west, the west coast, I'm going to try that here again. So see if we can get that brought up. We can do a draft to gain conscripts, a way to get some additional manpower at the cost of victory points and some loyalty. We can do a requisition that will take money from the area, and that will be from a friendly area. Cities with at least 50% loyalty. Costs development points, reduces our military control, reduces loyalty, yeah. Plunder, I think this is going to be something that would be more that we would do in less friendly territory. Requisition is for friendly territory, and plunder is for not. We can target disloyal small towns under 50% loyalty with our partisans or cavalry. Oh, I see. So that would be part of the raiding. Wow, it would cost 45% loyalty. So if you did that, they would not be pleased. It must not be pillaged and must have at least cleared development. So its development level has to be at least 25, and that pulls in $35,000. You know, that's a thought. Something to keep in mind, that we can do this if we do have a cavalry unit that we're going to raid through and pull up a town, for instance. That's something to think about. Okay, we tried to build this defensive works last time, and we ended up moving the unit out before it ever completed. I think I'll try that here just to see what it ends up doing. It takes 3 turns, and we'll see what that does. It entrenched better, and it will add to the loyalty. So that's not bad there. We'll try that. Maybe put in the telegraph line that buys us victory points, maybe to kind of make up for what we're spending on these other things. We don't have our unionists, militia units. Costs us 5 victory points. Now that's something that we could think about doing in these situations, like possibly here. Is this? Yeah, we could build unionists in Santa Fe and Albuquerque, 2 militia units. So that's another way that we could get units into the far west here. Our supply situation is such I don't really want to do that just yet. We could do partisans in whatever. Unionist partisans, 5 victory points. Something to think about. Okay, so we've done our regional decisions. We've done our production. Anything else? I think that's it. I'm gonna hit save and get this. I've had this crash before in my test games. Not a lot, but it seems to does happen every so often. And so far in this series, it has not crashed at all. I haven't cut any out or redone anything because it crashed. So it's doing really good here. Okay, proceed to the next turn. Oh. See how this turned brown here, his little envelope? That means that McClellan failed his activation roll. I was thinking that I was going to pull that back and not have him attack Manassas, because I got to looking and he does have a division here. You know, when I was looking at that force, that was just the also here units. But the division itself here, Magruder's division, we had no information on what his strength was. So that was going to be a going in against this unit without understanding fully what we were going up against. So I was going to actually cancel that move, and I forgot. So see what we got going here. We have part of this army here is on rail move, so they're going to be going somewhere. Let's see. He's coming back. Army of the Shenandoah is coming back down here. Flatboats. That's a transport. Army of the Tennessee. They're starting to build up some force up here. That looks like Albert Sidney Johnston there. Clads, Jackson Shore. I think that's where we moved in. Flatboat squadron. They're trying to run their flatboat squadron past our gunboats. It looks like they're going to do it successfully. Transport has arrived in the shipping lanes. Whoop. That's what you get trying to move flatboats past gunboats. We inflicted 4 damage on them. It could take 8, and we hit 4, so presumably we sunk 2 of these, depending on how it ended up putting the hits on there. We could have sunk up to 2 of them, or each of them could have 2 points damage, and we didn't sink anybody. So, or 1 point damage. We did take a little bit of cohesion loss, which is understandable. Anytime you go into action, you're gonna have that. This is gonna put these guys out of command, or excuse me, out of ammunition now, I think, or pretty nearly so. Magruder moved down to Falmouth. Flatboat squadron. This guy's still wandering around in the desert. Oh, we did intercept these guys down in, let's see if we can get it to where we can see them. Right here, this down by Fort Pickens, we moved these over, and they were running these flatboats past here. I wonder if they actually had any troops on these, or if they were just transport units. Our deadly fire ravaged the ranks. We hit with lucky shots, and we had a medium hit probability. We took very little cohesion damage on this, and we sunk that little transport squadron. Awesome. Alright, they're moving up here, these Indian units. See, our units are starting to coalesce here. The 9th Division has arrived in Scott, Maryland. Army of the Shenandoah is coming down here. Oh, we did move in here. And Johnston moved down there too, so I think McClellan is probably... Yeah, I definitely should have taken that out. Oh, they're moving forward. Oh, he moved all the way past. He moved down to Falmouth. So it's a good thing I didn't move that unit down into Falmouth, because Johnston would have smacked him. Archer's brigade has arrived in Henry, so they're starting to do a little bit of a build up here, and these are important because these will. Okay, so hey, McClellan actually attacked. McClellan, we inflicted 36 damage, took 28 in return. We lost under 1,000. They lost quite a bit. They lost their entire force. We wiped them out. We captured 14 war supply. We didn't have anybody routed. We captured 3,400 troops. That kind of evens the slate a little bit. That's great. That's great. Entrenched. They were entrenched 300%. And they had 7 units rout. But we wiped out this cavalry and this one mixed brigade down here in Manassas. So good job, Mac. Oh, he's actually moving up. That was less than optimal, wasn't it, Mr. Johnston? So Hurlbut had his force here. We had just brought Nelson up. So presumably they did not realize we had as much force as we did. Boy, that was almost a raiding force, just a battalion or a brigade of infantry and some cavalry. Well, only 3,600 troops. We outnumbered them by 10,000. They did do some damage to us. Not a lot. Quite a bit of cohesion hits on us. We took 2,900 prisoners, and none of our units routed. Good. And another 9 war supply. Good. We needed that. And they had 7 routed. Wow. He's a 3-2-1 leader. I do have that slight level of randomization on them, so all of our leaders are going to be slightly different or potentially different from what the default is on them. Hopefully we get some national morale advantage out of some of this. Oh yeah, look, we're up to 89. What happened here? Changes from surrender and disband 1, changes from battles 5, changes from options in event 2. So that's awesome. That was a great turn for us in seeing a lot of bad news, and now we wiped out the force that came up here. Awesome. Let's take a look at what the messages are. We may increase our river pool again. New military options are available. F3. Let's see what that is. Requisition river transports. That's something we haven't seen before. Allows us to gain river pool at the cost of 1 inflation without costing anything. That's definitely something I'm going to do. We've decided to raise taxes, and that worked out really good, because we did take the 2 morale loss from that, but that's been more than made up by the military situation that turn. So that's just great. The Confederacy is building more armories. Boy, they're really getting into this building of stuff much more so than we are. So I think maybe that's something I should have been doing a little more. Our entrenchment level is now raised to 4 as what our maximum is. We have a flotilla brigade. This is going to be another one of these elite units, I think. Epidemics have stuck our armies in the Mid-Atlantic Department. Oh my. In Clinton, New York, we lost 30% of our strength and 50% of our cohesion to a unit. I wonder what that was. Clinton. Oh, right here, I guess. Just this Plattsburgh garrison. Is that what we're looking at? They look like they've had their cohesion cut in half. Minus 30% strength. It didn't look like there was a strength loss. Oh, I guess we do see there. It's gone down a little bit, nothing major. Yeah, you know, if it's going to hit somewhere, hit some militia units way in the back, you know. I think so. Confederate states surrendered to us in Wilmington, Virginia. So this is Butler's force. So Williamsburg, we took. That unit surrendered. And we gained a victory point and a morale point there. This must be the gunboats or whatever that skipped through there. Mississippi. Oh, yeah. Didn't quite skip through there. We hit them. Okay. John Porter was killed during the Battle of Fauquier, the Battle of Manassas here, the Second Battle of Manassas. John Porter was killed. That's, I believe, quite a close to McClellan, if I recall. So that's quite the devastating loss for the general of our army there, a very close friend of his. Cohesion and organization being low, we decreased our fight. We captured 1,400 rifles, 3,400 prisoners, 2 national morale gained. Hurlbut engaged over here. 9,900 rifles, 2,900 prisoners, 3 national morale. This was the best turn we have had. So that's really nice to see. And McClellan reverted to a defensive stance here. I think what happened is when you do move into a region where you have less than 5% or less military control, it will automatically put you on an offensive stance. So he did go in there with an offensive stance, but he well, did he go in with an offensive stance? So before I say that, but he still had his non-activation penalty he would have got there. So let's take a look at this to see exactly what happened. Yeah, so he did get forced into an offensive posture because of the lower military control, I think, or maybe even just because he moved into a region with an enemy unit. I'm not really sure how that works out. Well, we were looking at this. Delay, Carleton reverted to a defensive stance here, so he did not attack this unit. So he failed his activation check. Units moving up to where they needed to go. Grant arrived in Hickman. Kansas Reaction Force arrived. We do see it's the weather has turned here, so we're going to have to think about what we're doing here. Supply train number 6 has arrived in Hickman, Kentucky. Oh, so that supply unit caught up with him. Awesome. Even though we sent it to here to actually, we targeted Grant with that supply. So even though Grant moved, that supply unit followed him. So that worked out well for us. Supply train strategic redeployment finished for Griffin. I think I did this off screen. I started recording this and I got a phone call and I had to stop. And I'm using the NVIDIA Shadow Play to record this, and I have yet to determine how I can actually pause it rather than just stop it and start over. So this guy, I did move him. I had talked about giving Esbeth another leader, and then I had forgotten to do it. So I just moved this guy from St. Louis, and I looked at moving him on the river, and it was going to take about 3 weeks. So I just did that strategic redeployment to move him to St. Joseph, and then we'll just walk him down to probably Leavenworth and pick up these units, move down to Mound City, and then consolidate our force, and then just take out these nuisance raiders here. Okay, the USS Dakota has finished. It's ready to be used. Michigan Volunteers, that would be Halleck using his training ability to take conscripts and turn them into regular infantry. We have several units now are going to be ready to be deployed. Their training has mostly finished. We'll look at the change of control. We captured no supply and 3 crates of ammunition while taking Williamsburg. We captured Columbus, and that got a small amount of supply. The Confederates captured Fort Belmont up here. You know, I had been read something somewhere about this auto garrison feature that these things have. I guess it's not automatic, so I guess we should have built some militia and put some militia down in each of these. Thing to keep in mind for next time around: 110 supply carts from taking Manassas. There was a fairly substantial depot here that we captured. So this is good news. We have a force that's got about twice as much of our power sitting right here, potentially going to jump us. So I don't know if necessarily I'm going to try to hold Manassas. In fact, maybe what we'll do is blow the depot and retreat back to Fairfax. We'll have to see. Looks like we're down to 5 minutes left or so. Our control of this, that was this one. System telegraph line is being built in Jefferson, Kentucky. This is our Washington. No, Anne Arundel. That's back here, isn't it? Okay, so we've got our loyalty to be greater than 50% here. So we're kind of getting the Confederate sympathizers kind of suppressed a bit here. Telegraph network in Alexander, Illinois. So we had put this here, I believe, several turns ago, and I think that's now completed, and we've brought our civilization level, our development level of this up to 80. Transport ships did their thing. Oh, here we go. This is my mistake here now. These two cavalry units suffered hits due to lack of supply. Let's take a look at them. So their cohesion dropped to half, and they've actually lost strength due to this. They've lost men. And that's just a complete waste. That was just a miscalculation on my part. You shouldn't lose strength to being out of supply. That's just something you gotta. Let's just. Oh, we captured that flatboat unit. So now we got these little flatboats. Don't know what we're gonna do with them. They do have a transport capacity, a small transport capacity. I guess we'll just stick them into Fort Pickens. There's nothing else we can really do with them. Oh, we captured 20-pounder artillery unit from the Confederate States of America in Manassas here. So right here. So that's nice. We were missing out on our artillery. Here we just captured one. So that's great. Hurlbut has been congratulated for his actions against the enemy, new seniority 90, and Nelson as well has been congratulated. McClellan has been congratulated for against the enemy, new seniority 1. Hooker has been congratulated. Sumner has been congratulated. Oh wow. Sumner Mansfield has been Erasmus Keyes has been congratulated. He is now promotable. So that was a really useful battle there. That was pretty great. So Keyes here is promotable, and you can't promote him while he is part of a division. So what we'll have to do to promote him is we'll have to dismantle his division, and then flag him for promotion, and then when he gets promoted, we'll reform this army a bit. But he'll now be a 2-star general, which will allow him to be a corps commander, and that's something that we're going to be needing when we're allowed corps here in March. Let's see. Let's get back to the messages. That's all the messages we're through. We're now early November. We can see that the weather has changed. It's all muddy through here. We've got snow here, still clear down here. Harsh Blizz Mountains, snow, and it's clear out here still. So these units now, here's something to think about. These units that have been moving up through here, now the weather has changed. These are not producing a lot of supply. and we're sitting here pretty good. Not awesome, but we've got some supply here. Yeah, I think we're doing just fine supply-wise here. So we're going to gather our forces. These guys are going to probably start suffer some degradation due to the supply situation. I would guess maybe these little forces or these stockades are providing enough. I'm guessing not, because if they were providing enough supply, they wouldn't be foraging to try to gain more. So that's what these pillage are, because these units were not getting enough supply, so they went and pillaged. Okay, down here, a little bit, nothing going on through. There was something running wild up there, but we're not going to worry too much about him. Okay, so that's been 30 minutes and then some, so we will call this episode to a close, and next episode we will we're going to start looking at our orders for the early November 1861 turn. And I think when we get to January of 1862, we'll kind of have a pause for a kind of look at our grand strategy again. We kind of talked about it briefly, but kind of think about what we need to do in the year ahead. So we'll save that for probably the January turn. We're also going to get a lot of new commanders in January as well. And we're going to have to disperse those out to our forces, so our command situation is going to improve hugely. I mean, we're going to get in like 20 generals or so. I mean, it's going to be quite a bit. Okay, we've got lots of money. We've got plenty of manpower. We've got a good chunk of war supplies. So we're gonna, yeah, those 23 that we pulled in off the battlefield. That's a big help this turn. We're gonna increase do some investment in our war production, but we'll do all that next episode. So I will see you later.